was a terrible tragedy in France today. 12 people were killed because a satirical newspaper made jokes that some group found offensive. Now, obviously, everyone here, all of us, are accustomed to bad news from around the world. But this story really hits home for anyone who day in and day out mocks political, social, and religious figures.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Gimme 5. Some reaction from some of media's biggies. Conan O'Brien, and we'll hear more from him in a second, to his credit, came out on his show and said what you just heard and said more. I watched the Tonight Show just to see what he would do, and I have to imagine it was a live show. I mean, you know, an up-to-date show. I have to imagine it was, they tape in the late afternoon, so certainly they were aware of the attacks. Nothing. I mean, I watched the whole monologue and into the first segment. Nothing. I think O'Brien had the exact right idea, and Jimmy Fallon didn't do anything. Just, you know, went on with it. Hey, everything's dancing around. I just think that's wrong. Here's more from Conan.
In this country, we just take it for granted that it's our right to poke fun at the untouchable or the sacred. But today's tragedy in Paris reminds us very viscerally that it's a right some people are inexplicably forced to die for.
Yeah. And he had one more follow-up to that before he ended the segment. Watch.
So it is very important tonight that I express that everybody who works at our comedy show, and believe it or not, this is a comedy show, that's what we're trying to do here, all of us are terribly sad for the families of those victims, for the people of France, and for anyone in the world tonight who now has to think twice before making a joke. It's not the way it's supposed to be.
Right. It's not the way it's supposed to be. Tina Fey had this to say. I'm not a fan of Tina Fey, but here, let's put up on the screen. Obviously, the news is terrible and tragic and upsetting, Fey said Wednesday morning. You look at that, and you look at the controversy surrounding the interview. It makes you think about how important free speech is and how it absolutely must be defended. We cannot back down on free speech in any way. We all have to stand firm on the issue of free speech. We're Americans, and even if it's dumb jokes, in the interview, we have the right to make them. Okay, let's move on to an interview, a couple of interviews given by the editor of the magazine that was attacked yesterday, and one of the men who died, and I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly, Stéphane Charbonnet. He was murdered in the attacks. And 2 years ago, let's put up on the screen, he gave an interview to Le Monde and said, "We didn't feel like we could kill somebody with a pen." Explaining why he continued to publish outrageously controversial comics. "This may sound pompous, but I prefer to die standing up than live on my knees." And how prophetic those words turned out to be. Now, the magazine several years ago had been firebombed. And after the firebombing of the magazine, Charbonnet gave an interview to Der Spiegel, and here's what he said there. He said, "There will continue to be no taboos at Charlie Hebdo in the future. It should be as normal to criticize Islam as it is to criticize Jews or Catholics." Is he afraid of attacks or violence directed against him and his colleagues? He said, "I have neither a wife nor children, not even a dog, but I'm not going to hide." And he didn't hide, and the magazine kept doing what it was doing. And I have to say, they have vowed to continue to publish. They say they will publish their next issue. And yet you have the New York Times, the AP, CNN, and even from what I understand, Fox, all saying, we're not showing any of those cartoons. We showed them yesterday, I believe. How could you not show them? I mean, it's part of the story. How do you just describe what was done without showing what was offensive? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It's not good. It's not good. And for Jay Carney to now go around defending himself and the administration when in 2012 he criticized this magazine for their judgment in printing those cartoons, that's outrageous. Where are we on the Steve Malzberg Show?